Okay, let's dive into the moral complexity of Omni-Man. From ruthless guardian killings to conflicted loyalty, we're gonna dissect Omni-Man's Viltrumite nature versus newfound connections, and Omni-Man's character challenges versus the traditional notions of good and evil. So, after episode 4 ended, you might have been left wondering, is Omni-Man evil or is he actually good? Well, that's a dilemma because in the first season, we saw him murdering the Guardians mercilessly. It was brutal. And now we see him fighting his own people, aka Viltrumites, just to save some other planet. Of course, he did impregnate one of the people, so there's that.
Why do I care about them? They were weak.
But it did leave you and me with a lot of questions. So today we're going to discuss it, plus the history of Omni-Man, his powers, his capabilities, and how he ranks in the power hierarchy of the Viltrumites. I'm also going to tell you an interesting theory on why he murdered the Guardians. Let's get started! Imagine a hero so powerful who has godlike powers and an appetite for conquest. That's Omni-Man for you! His story begins as a Viltrumite. Now let's rewind back to the glory days of Viltrum, a world shining with power and ambition. The Viltrumites were bred for supremacy and domination across galaxies, at least that's what they like to believe. And in this world of might and cosmic hierarchy, Nolan Grayson rose to prominence. He was hailed not just for his extraordinary strength, but also for his intellect and leadership. Now, the Viltrumites weren't just your run-of-the-mill conquerors. They believed in a doctrine of bringing order through dominance. And Nolan, oh boy, he embodied those ideals. You could call him the poster boy of Viltrumite superiority. Now, one thing you need to know about these Viltrumites is that their job is everything to them. If somebody is not capable of doing their job, which is killing and conquering planets and enemies, then they don't care about you. They don't give a crap at all. And that means even if somebody like that dies, there'll be no funeral for them because they don't care.
Lucan was weak. Now he's dead.
Then he deserved his fate.
Like these insects.
Nolan Grayson believed the very same thing. He was sent to Earth, a seemingly insignificant planet in the grand scheme of cosmic politics, to conquer the planet and make it suitable for Viltrumite rule. But then comes the twist in the plot. Nolan experiences something unexpected. Humanity, love. He meant Debbie, which I believe changed everything, because if it weren't for him falling for Debbie, Earth would have been a part of the Viltrum Empire so long ago. So now we have Nolan, a Viltrumite who's only born to complete his role, and he abandons it. But did he really, though? Well, not completely. When he killed the Guardians, which I think is because he had this goal in his mind that he was to make Earth suitable for Viltrumite rule first. But the Guardians of the Globe were standing in the way of his goal. They were the protectors of Earth, so they had to be removed out of the way first, right? It makes sense. That's why we think he murdered them. But why did he stop after that? Why not conquer and kill all the people? Well, that's because of the love that he experienced on Earth. He was facing a dilemma, to choose duty or to choose his heart. He was faithful to both, but then somewhere down the line, his heart took over, and then he had a sudden moment of realization when he was fighting his son, because he had made up his mind that now he's gonna complete the job he was sent to do so long ago. But then after seeing his son lying there in a bloody pulp because of him heavily injured, it shook him up, and that's why he left. So that was Nolan's history and his story on Earth. Now let's talk about something else now. By now you've already seen his powers and the things he is capable of doing. Let's dive a little bit deeper into him. Is he the strongest Viltrumite? And how would he perform against a couple of Viltrumites altogether? Let's get the ball rolling. Now we all know he is the epitome of speed, power, and agility, but did you know that his durability is off the charts? It's very impressive. Remember his fight with Red Rush? If Red Rush was doing what he did to Omni-Man to somebody else, they would not have survived. The best way I can describe his durability would be like as if a meteor shower decided to take a dump on him and blast him in the face. It would feel like nothing more than gentle rain. But there's more. He's got regenerative abilities, which are also amazing, and we can see proof of it when he survived the attack by the Guardians. I mean, like, he attacked them first, to be fair, but the blows he received for doing it? We are talking about those blows. It was like, whoa, big blows. Anyways, let's spice things up a bit. What if Omni-Man found himself facing not just one, but several Viltrumites? Now that's a challenge worthy of his stature. These Viltrumites, much like Omni-Man himself, possess incredible strength and agility, not to mention an itch for combat. However, Omni-Man's experience is a game changer in this scenario. His understanding of their tactics and abilities gives him a strategic advantage, plus he is a better fighter. Remember how he ripped open the intestine of the Lucian guy with a single chop? Lucian was probably the hugest Viltrumite, and Omni-Man did that to him. Now let's enter an interesting question. Is he the strongest Viltrumite? Well, for now, yeah. I mean, we haven't seen the leaders of the Viltrumites yet, and who knows what they're capable of doing and all the powers they might hold. But before we see him or her, we should not jump to conclusions. Still, I will make one conclusion about one thing. Omni-Man is no joke. He wouldn't be an easy opponent for anybody, be it Battle Beast or be it the leader of the Viltrumites. He would give them the fight of their lives. Now finally coming to the biggest question of them all, is Omni-Man evil or is he good? Is he evil for following his Viltrumite instincts, or is he good for defying defying them out of love for his adopted home. Well, see, it's this internal conflict between nature and nurture that defines Omni-Man. He's torn between his innate Viltrumite tendencies to conquer everything and his newfound emotional connections. His actions blur the lines between heroism and evil villain in a way that really keeps us on our toes. Sure, he does some really bad things like, the whole trying to conquer the world spiel and murder the Guardians, but then there are moments when he displays genuine compassion and selflessness, like when he was going to kill his own Viltrumites for the things they did to the innocent people of Thraxa.
I'll kill you for what you did to these people.
We're like watching his internal struggle play out in real time. And that's the beauty of Omni-Man's character. He's not a cookie-cutter hero or straightforward villain. He's this intricate mix of conflicting ideologies, constantly grappling with his own identity and values. A fight between the heart and a strong mind. Now, I want to talk to you about perspective for a moment. From the viewpoint of his enemies, or maybe for those who suffer due to his Viltrumite nature, Omni-Man might seem like the epitome of evil, which we understand because he does some really brutal stuff and has a total disregard for collateral damage, and he can really paint a dark picture. But on the flip side, you can see a different side to his character. Omni-Man's actions, as ruthless as they may be, stem from his upbringing, his sense of duty to his people. In his mind, he's just doing his job that was given to him since his birth, which begs the question, can someone be inherently evil against their own nature for the sake of love and loyalty? Well, in Omni-Man's case, the answer is yes. Well, up until now it is. He's an enigma for sure, constantly challenging our perceptions of good and evil. It's not a straightforward case of black and white. It's a moral gray area that keeps us questioning and debating, so all that I can really say is that Omni-Man really embodies all the complexities of morality. He's neither entirely good or irredeemably evil. He's a character layered with contradictions, making him captivating and, dare I say it, relatable in his own way. Now all we can do is hope that he fights against the Viltrumites. Speaking of him and the Viltrumites, tell me, who do you think he will stay with until the end? The Viltrumites or his son, given that he doesn't die?
Your father will be executed, and you will return to Earth.
Phew, that was intense. So that was all for this video. Feel free to let me know your thoughts or any questions you might have down in the comments section. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.